You're watching Nightline. I'm Azaria. Tagaya. The top stories. Government to cap price of bottled cooking oil soon. And PM reminds employers to take 1,500 ringgit minimum wage seriously. The government will gazette the maximum retail price for palm cooking oil in bottles to ensure that the product will have its maximum retail price from time to time. Jihad Against Inflation Task Force Chairman Tan Sri Anwar Musa said the move was deemed necessary after discussions held with the industry to lower the price of cooking oil were proven ineffective despite the decline in crude palm oil prices.
Dan ini akan dibuat dengan perincian-perincian tertentu oleh KPNGP dan menetapkan tarikh bila ianya akan diwartakan, dan setelah ianya diwartakan, minyak masak di dalam botol akan mempunyai harga maksima yang akan ditentukan daripada semasa ke semasa berdasarkan terutamanya kepada harga pasaran minyak masak dunia. Pada semua rakan-rakan media,
Tan Sri Anwar said this during a press conference after chairing a task force meeting at the Parliament building on Monday. He said as the price of cooking oil was not lowered, the existing law enables the government to gazette certain essential items with their maximum retail prices. He added that the setting of the maximum price is expected to be implemented within a week. Meanwhile, Tan Sri Anwar said that the government has banned the export of cooking oil in polybags to streamline enforcement against smuggling of the subsidised food item. He said the government has consequently directed cooking oil manufacturers to only export in bottled form. Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob on Monday sent out a reminder to employers that the minimum wage had been set at 1,500 ringgit since May 1st. However, the Prime Minister said, based on My Future Jobs statistics until July, the salary range for most job vacancies offered nationwide was between 1,200 ringgit to 2,000 ringgit per month. Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri said the government is now actively developing a talent pool that is skilled, productive and has high potential, but expressed disappointment that the salaries offered by employers do not commensurate with the qualifications and work done by locals.
Ingin mengingatkan majikan bahawa mulai 1 Mei lepas, gaji minimum seseorang pekerja ialah RM1,500 bagi keselesaan hidup keluarga Malaysia. Sehubungan dengan itu, saya meminta semua pihak majikan mengambil serius mengenai perkara ini kerana pekerja merupakan tunjang utama dalam mana-mana organisasi di mana mereka boleh make or break sesuatu perniagaan.
Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri urged the Human Resources Ministry to hold discussions with employers and employee representatives to identify the best approach and solution to the problem. In fact, he added the National Labour Advisory Council can also be used to carry out tripartite consultations to reach a consensus for the well-being of Keluarga Malaysia. Besides the ongoing Jamin Kerja Expo, he said the Jamin Kerja Wage Incentive JKIP and the My Future Jobs job matching services have assisted some 113,672 members of Keluarga Malaysia. He said this when officiating the launch of the Jamin Kerja Keluarga Malaysia Career Expo 2022 in Kuala Lumpur on Monday. Some 1,000 employers offering 30,000 jobs in various sectors are participating in the 5-day mega expo that began on Saturday. In other news, Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri said Iskandar Malaysia has recorded committed investments of 13.2 billion ringgit in the first half of this year, out of which 5.9 billion ringgit have been realised. He said the investments achieved had proven that foreign investors are more confident to invest in Malaysia. In a statement after chairing the Iskandar Regional Development Authority IRDA meeting together with Johor Menteri Besar Dato' On Hafiz Ghazi, the Prime Minister said a total of more than 10 billion ringgit will be generated by foreign investors in this region for the development of data centres. Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri also stressed that these foreign investments would create additional job opportunities for Keluarga Malaysia. Meanwhile, the IRDA is formulating the modern agriculture strategy in strengthening the food security agenda, which would position position IRDA as Malaysia's agro-food hub. The development of 5G technology, which is a key supporting component of modern agriculture, is being accelerated in Iskandar Malaysia to address the food supply issue in the country. The IRDA is also drafting the Iskandar Malaysia Comprehensive Development Plan 2022-2030, which will make the region as one of the core areas of the national economy, with the concept of sustainable development and resilient to future uncertainty, shocks and challenges. The anti-party hopping bill, which is slated to be debated in the Dewan Rakyat on Wednesday and to potentially conclude on Thursday, received no objections from government MPs. According to Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Parliament and Law, Datuk Sri Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, the MPs are familiar with the bill, as several engagement sessions have already been held since January this year.
Dia orang berkehendak supaya senator tu masuk, tetapi kita punya jawatan kuasa tu membuat keputusan selepas berbincang 2-3 kali dalam mesyuarat tu, kita berbincang soalan senator sama dimasuk ataupun tidak dimasuk. Tetapi keputusan dibuat oleh jawatan kuasa, biarlah kita konsentrate dengan ini dulu.
He said this to reporters after an engagement session with the Legal Affairs Division, the Attorney General's Chambers and MPs on Monday. Datuk Sri Wan Junaidi said the anti-party hopping bill is the first bill to be drafted by a special select committee instead of the Attorney General's Chambers. He added that the bill is also to be tabled along with a report from the special select committee. The anti-party hopping bill will require a 2/3 majority to be passed in the Dewan Rakyat. The Housewives Social Security Bill, offering voluntary insurance protection to Malaysian housewives, was passed by a voice note in the Dewan Rakyat on Monday. The scheme, managed by the Social Security Organisation Prix, would be eligible to about 3 million housewives aged below 55.
Ini berdasarkan laporan Survey Tenaga Buruh Malaysia 2021 yang dikeluarkan oleh Jabatan Perangkaan Malaysia menunjukkan seramai 4.95 juta atau 68.3% populasi wanita di Malaysia masih di luar tenaga buruh dan tidak mempunyai liputan perlindungan sosial. Oleh itu, rang undang-undang ini mendapat memastikan suri rumah turut dilindungi dengan izin. No one left behind.
Dato' Awang Hashim said the bill recognised the involvement of housewives who were a part of the care economy, directly involved in the development of family institutions. He said the scheme, among others, would cover housewives from any illnesses or incidents while managing the household that would affect their duties as a housewife. Under the scheme, husbands would have to pay 120 ringgit in advance to Pekeso to provide protection for their wives for a period of 12 months. He also said husbands who have voluntarily registered for the scheme but who fail to make contributions could be fined not more than 10,000 ringgit or imprisoned for a term of not more than 2 years or both. Housewives could also choose to contribute on their own if their husbands do not sign up for the scheme. Dato' Awang also clarified that the term housewife in the bill covered any woman, married or unmarried, managing a household, whether full-time or part-time. Cosmetic product founders and sellers are not allowed to use their professional title, doctor, to their names when advertising their brands and merchandise. Deputy Health Minister Datuk Dr. Nur Azmi Ghazali said failure to adhere to such guidelines would lead to severe consequences, where the advertisements and product notifications would be cancelled out by the ministry. Speaking in the Dewan Rakyat on Monday, Datuk Dr. Nur Azmi explained that the regulation on preventing misleading advertisements is enshrined in the advertising guidelines for cosmetics issued by the National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Division NPRA.
Penggunaan gelaran profesional seperti doktor tidak dibenarkan. Tindakan regulatory seperti amaran iklan dan pembatalan notifikasi kosmetik akan diambil sekiranya kosmetik didapati diiklankan dengan tuntutan perubatan ataupun tuntutan yang melampau skop takrifan kosmetik.
Datuk Dr. Nur Azmi also said cosmetic sellers were not allowed to make excessive claims about their products without concrete proof. Meanwhile, he said cosmetic and medicinal products that contain ingredients that are found to be hazardous to the health of consumers will be ordered to be recalled from the market within 24 hours. Malaysia remains free from monkeypox after tests on 9 suspected cases turned out negative for the virus. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said the ministry had reminded all health facilities to be aware of the current monkeypox situation and increased detection cases among patients at risk. Khairi said this following the announcement by the World Health Organization that the monkeypox infection is now a public health emergency of international concern. In a statement on Monday, Khairi said all non-Malaysian travellers who enter the country must fill the traveller's card on the My Sejahtera application. Though the country was free from the disease, Khairi said the Health Ministry had taken several steps to strengthen preventive measures against monkeypox. This, he said, included sentinel surveillance in several public and private clinics to monitor rash and skin lesion cases. Khairi said the ministry would also beef up surveillance measures at international entry points and collaborate with various ministries and agencies to strengthen the preventive measures. Monkeypox, previously endemic in several West and Central African nations, was first detected outside the region in early May. As of July 22nd, Khairi said 16,836 monkeypox cases had been detected across 74 countries, with 5 fatalities recorded. In the meantime, the proposed tobacco and smoking control bill's age limit for the ban on the sale of tobacco and vape products will be adjusted to those born after 2007 from the initially suggested limit of people born after 2005. Taking to his Twitter page on Monday, Khairi said this change was made after careful consideration of the various views and arguments put forth on the bill during stakeholder engagement sessions earlier this year.
Selama seminggu ini, saya akan keluarkan kandungan video setiap hari dengan fakta dan bukti bagi meyakinkan anda untuk menyokong GEG. Kita semua boleh memainkan peranan untuk akta ini diluluskan. Suarakan pandangan anda jika anda setuju untuk GEG dengan akta ini. Jika anda mahukan anak-anak dan cucu-cucu kita bebas daripada asap rokok, speak about it. Tell your MPs to support the law. Sokongan anda mampu melahirkan generasi yang lebih sihat. Let's do this.
Khairi stressed the important role that every person can play in achieving a smoke-free future for future generations. He also said the move is to provide the government additional time to develop a more comprehensive implementation plan and enforcement measures along with better community education. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Bilal Shah expressed hope for University Islam Pahang Sultan Ahmad Shah, or UNIPSAS, to continue making a name for itself as a distinguished Islamic university, producing graduates with quality to become the next generation of ulama. His Majesty said in order to promote Islamic studies, UNIPSAS, which began as a small college in 1996, needs to continue exploring new areas of studies and forging strategic cooperation with other universities, including overseas. Al-Sultan Abdullah also expressed confidence that UNIPSAS will become the most preferred destination for young people, especially among religious school leavers, to pursue their tertiary education. In his royal address, Al-Sultan Abdullah said that UNIPSAS was close to his heart, as the establishment and development of the university was synonymous and closely related to his late father, Paduka Ayahanda Sultan Ahmad Shah.
Pada hari yang penuh bersejarah ini, Beta telah menunaikan impian almarhum Paduka Ayahanda Beta untuk membangunkan sebuah kolej Islam dan Negeri Pahang menjadi sebuah universiti Islam. Beta ingin berpesan pada Paduka Ayahanda Mangku Raja Pahang selaku Chancellor UNIPSAS dan juga kepada seluruh barisan kepimpinan dan ahli-ahli lembaga pengarah untuk terus menjaga dan berusaha untuk memajukan UNIPSAS agar namanya terus tersohor.
He said this when gracing the UNIPSAS proclamation ceremony in Kuantan, Pahang on Monday, which was also attended by Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Haja Aziza Aminah Maimunah Iskandaria.
Sultan Abdullah also expressed gratitude and pride over the establishment of UNIPSA's Hadith Academy and Jawi Institution, both of which were mooted by him to promote the study of Hadith and empower the Jawi script. The history of UNIPSAS began in 1996 with the first batch of 67 students before it was known as College Islam Pahang Sultan Ahmad Shah in November 2000 and upgraded to College University Islam Pahang Sultan Ahmad Shah on October 20th, 2015. It was upgraded to full university status and known as UNIPSAS on December 1st, 2021, hence making it the first state government's wholly owned university offering study opportunities from the diploma to the doctorate level.
Welcome back to Nightline. 34 people died in central Kenya after a bus they were travelling in veered off a bridge and plunged into a river 40 metres below. Officials said in the 6:30 p.m. local time incident, the bus was travelling from Meru to the port city of Mombasa when it swerved off Nithi Bridge in Tharaka Nithi County. Initial investigations revealed that the bus's brakes may have failed, preventing its driver from properly turning on a sharp bend at the bridge. 11 other people had survived the grisly crash, but authorities cautioned that the number of fatalities could rise as many of those injured are in critical condition. In the meantime, the country's transport regulator, the National Transport and Safety Authority, has ordered all buses belonging to Modern Coast to suspend operations pending an investigation into the crash. The accident is the latest in a series of deadly crashes in Kenya and the wider East African region, where roads are often narrow while police often cite speeding drivers for accidents. Myanmar's military junta on Monday said it had executed 4 democracy activists accused of helping to carry out terror acts in the Southeast Asian nation's first executions in decades, sparking widespread condemnation. Sentenced to death in closed-door trials in January and April, the 4 men had been accused of helping militias to fight the army that seized power in a coup last year and unleashed a bloody crackdown on its opponents. Among those executed were democracy figure Kiao Min Yu, better known as Jimmy, and former lawmaker and hip-hop artist Pyo Zia Tao. 53-year-old Kiao and 41-year-old Pyo, ally of ousted Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyi, had previously lost their appeals against the sentences in June. Myanmar's state media on Monday reported the executions had taken place, and junta spokesman Zhao Min Tun later confirmed the executions. Neither gave any details about when the executions occurred. Sri Lanka will restrict fuel imports for the next 12 months due to a severe shortage of foreign exchange as the island nation's new government seeks to find a way out of a crippling economic crisis. In confirming the matter, its Power and Energy Minister Kanchana Wijasekara said the rationing system is among the first steps that Sri Lanka's new President Ranil Wickremesinghe will take to ease the impact of the crisis after taking office last week following a victory in a parliament vote. Sri Lanka also reopened its schools on Monday after severe fuel shortages and political unrest kept them closed for nearly a month. The country of 22 million has been grappling with the lack of essentials, including fuel and medicines, for months after its foreign exchange reserves ran dry because of economic mismanagement and the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. We're back with sports. Red Bull's Max Verstappen won the French Grand Prix on Sunday and took a huge stride towards his second Formula One title after Ferrari's Charles Leclerc made a costly mistake and crashed out while leading. The victory on a hot afternoon at Le Castellet was Verstappen's 7th of the season and 27th of his career. It also left him a hefty 63 points, more than 2 race wins, clear of closest rival Leclerc at top with 10 rounds remaining. 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton finished second for Mercedes in his 300th Grand Prix, with teammate George Russell third to secure their first podium double of the campaign. Red Bull's Sergio Perez finished fourth, losing out to Russell 3 laps from the end and complaining over the radio that the Briton had repeatedly gone off. Carlos Sainz was fifth for Ferrari after starting on the back row due to engine penalties and storming back through the field with a bonus point for the fastest lap. On to cycling. Jonas Vingegaard claimed his maiden Tour de France title after Sunday's 21st and final stage, completing a triumph he effectively sealed in the mountains after a vintage duel with Tadej Pogačar. The softly spoken Vingegaard is the first Dane to win the Tour since Bjarne Riis, who kept his 1996 title, despite later admitting to doping.
The 25-year-old finished Sunday's ride to the Champs-Élysées safely in the bunch as Belgian Jasper Philipsen won the last stage in a sprint ahead of Dutchman Dylan Groenewegen and Norway's Alexander Kristoff, who was second and third respectively. Vingegaard laid the foundations of his victory in the 10th stage when he and his teammate Primož Roglic attacked Pogačar relentlessly and made him crack in the climb up the Col du Granon. Pogačar hit back time and time again, but Vingegaard and his Jumbo-Visma team contained the feisty Slovenian, with the new champion sealing the victory when he claimed another win at Hautacam in the final mountain stage. Overall, Vingegaard, who rocketed into the limelight last year, finished ahead of Pogačar and also won the polka dot jersey for the mountains classification. Geraint Thomas, the 2018 champion, ended up a distant third overall.
Coming up, police arrest married couple, seize drugs worth 2 million ringgit. Thanks for staying with us on Nightline. In Perak, police arrested a married couple in separate raids around Ipoh on suspicion of drug trafficking and seized drugs worth 2 million ringgit last Thursday. Perak Police Chief Datuk Mior Farid Alatrash Wahid said the 34-year-old local man was detained at a food court in Jalan Raja Muda Mahadi, while his wife, a Vietnamese aged 38, was nabbed along the road at Panorama Lapangan Perdana at about 4:40 p.m.
Dan hasil pemeriksaan terhadap sebuah kereta yang dipandu suspek satu lelaki Cina tersebut, pihak polis telah menjumpai 10 bungkusan plastik warna hijau bertulis Guan Ying Wang, bahan disyaki dadah jenis metapetamin berat 10.3 kg. Itu the first penemuan pertama selepas kita menahan lelaki Cina tersebut bersama dengan isterinya, seorang warga negara Vietnam. Dan selepas itu kita telah membuat pemeriksaan susulan di sebuah kereta, di kawasan tempat kereta sebuah pangsapuri di sekitar Ipoh, dan kita telah menjumpai lagi 10 bungkusan plastik berwarna hijau bertulis Guan Ying Wang, bahan disyaki dadah metapetamin seberat 10.3 kg.
He said police also seized a branded watch, an anklet, a ring and a bracelet worth 83,315 ringgit. Datuk Mior Farid Alatrash said the man also tested positive for methamphetamine, while the drug tests conducted on his wife came back negative. The couple, both with no previous record, is believed to have been active in drug trafficking since 3 months ago. He added that the couple are in remand for 1 week from last Friday until this Thursday under the Dangerous Drugs Act.
As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look as Japanese BMX rider Rim Nakamura shows off his skills at an unusual setting, the Western Village, the abandoned Wild West theme park in Nikko, Japan. The 20-year-old performed a host of tricks and stunts in the park, which closed down in 2007 but never reopened. With that, I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thank you for watching and have a great week ahead.